Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Never Sleep Again Halloween special for 2024. And in this episode, we are going to talk about the movie Saw, all the movies Saw in this one. Joining me for this one is the Last Outlaw Jesse James, creator of Into the Barricade and Mayhem Media team member. Jesse?
Good evening, JD.
You've done a couple of these so far, our specials. They were all pre-recorded, so go check them out if you haven't seen them. This one is live, and next Thursdays will also be live. That one will be a little bit later, maybe even as late as 10 or 10:30. So stay tuned for that one. We'll be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street next week. And of course, please go check out our website, mayhemmediaproductions.com. We will be having written articles coming there soon, and a lot more content will be available on the website here in the next couple of weeks. And our storefront, bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media shop, and pick up some apparel, Into the Barricade apparel, Mayhem Media apparel. And for a limited time only, we have our Halloween logo slapped on some apparel. So grab that. That's only until the end of October. Only a couple days left for that. So make sure you grab it. And we're going to give our friends WFU a shout out. They got a new show coming up. Unfortunately, I don't have the visual for that one uploaded into the studio yet, but it's January. Jesse, you are a member of WFU. What's the date and the event and stuff? Tell them about
January 10th, South St. Paul, Minnesota, at the South Side Salvation Army. We are running show number 2. WFU presents Dysfunctional.
Absolutely.
We're going to put the fun in dysfunction.
Yes. And of course, I made an announcement video that'll hopefully be released soon on their social media. But we want to give them a shout out because we're working with them and helping them out. And of course, Jesse, being on the Mayhem Media team, is a team member. So, we're helping him out too.
Double duty.
Let's talk about Saw.
Let's go.
Let's go right with the first one. And I mean, I think I'm going to hold off before we pose the first question, but I have to say, I think the first one, let's do a favorite Saw. I think the first one is the best.
I absolutely agree.
Leave a comment on what your favorite Saw movie is. But I think it has to be the first one. None of the other ones have, they missed a lot of opportunities in the ones after that to make it a good one. And that's the problem there. So, but let's start with the first one. Did you know, Jesse, that the body laying on the floor was going to be Jigsaw?
No. And anybody who says they did is an absolute liar. I have watched that movie 100 times. I have watched nothing but the body for the entire movie. No. Anybody who says they knew the dead guy in the middle of the room was Jigsaw the whole time, I don't care. You're a liar.
Yeah, there's no way. You can't see his face, so you have no idea. As far as you know, it's just an extra that's laying there on the floor. So
right. It's just another dead guy.
Yeah. And with all the death we see in this movie, even in the first one, it's there's no way to know that that's him. When he stood up at the end of it, I was complete. The first time I saw it, I could not believe it. I had a completely wide open mouth, shocked. I was completely beside myself. I would have never guessed it in a million years when he stood up.
No.
Like, oh my goodness, no way. And that set it up. I think the first movie set the tone. I don't know that the other movies, we'll talk about them in a minute, but this one really set the tone. And the twist at the end, all the twists, and then the twist at the end was huge.
Yeah.
So leave a comment if you thought the body was Jigsaw, but we're not going to believe you even if you tell us yes.
No, you're a liar if you say yes. I don't care. I feel like the final twist in that movie set it, for lack of a better term, set the franchise up for failure from there, because they're like, how do you top that?
Yeah, I Saw 2 wasn't bad. That was interesting. Like, it was interesting. Like, he's in front of the cops now. Oh, he's caught. So I think number 2 still, and I think the twist at the end about him being in a safe location, dude, I'm sorry, but that did maybe not as much as him standing up in the first one, but him literally sitting there and saying to Detective Matthews, no, if you sit here and just talk to me, you will find your son in a safe space,
right,
state. And if the safe popped open, there he is. That's what I was like, oh my goodness. So
Right.
I mean, that one got me too.
It's such good twists.
Yeah. The third one is where I think they start losing it. And that leads us to this visual. Was it a mistake to kill off Jigsaw or John Kramer in the third movie in that one? I have it up on the Saw 4 because technically we see a good bit of him. We see a lot of backstory in Saw 4 from before his death. But was it a mistake to kill John Kramer off as the original Jigsaw? That's the question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's where the story went off the rails.
I think so too. I think killing him was definitely a huge mistake. I like the whole apprentice thing, like him, training someone else. He's dying. Yeah. He's going to need someone else. But I think they went about that a little bit too fast, in my opinion. And I also think, go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right. I do think my favorite part of that, though, is when they do the flashback scenes, and in order to make him look younger, they just make him wear a backwards hat. He's just as old, but with a backwards hat.
That was a little ridiculous. Yes. Not great. I mean, Tobin Bell is excellent in that. Like,
oh yeah, fantastic.
Nothing that's wrong with any of those movies is his fault. In fact, his presence saves many of the later films after the first one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they do have him in some ridiculous stuff. And then of course, as it goes on, it gets a little bit more gory. Some of the later ones really, really get ridiculous.
Yeah.
They keep trying to one up. It became all about the traps, not about the story.
Yeah.
I mean? There's a shock factor about the traps. And while there's a certain degree of that in those movies, you need, I think the story is what kept people coming back initially, especially after the second one, and having Amanda, who is your favorite character. And let's talk about that, the favorite apprentice. Having her come back in the second one, and then having her come back and actually showing that she's, kind of still with him in the third one. I think that's what kind of hooked people initially.
Yeah.
So, and then they went off the rails with all of a sudden he's got all these apprentices and all these people following him. And I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Detective Hoffman.
No, Detective Hoffman sucked.
Yeah, he was the worst of them.
Agreed.
Out of the three that we have here, I mean, and even if not out of everybody, Dr. Gordon was always my favorite. After the first one, I said to everybody I know about the Saw movies, I'm like, just wait. Especially after I saw Amanda number 2, I said, just wait. Dr. Gordon is coming back. He's going to be one of the apprentices, or he's going to be running his own game. It will have Dr. Gordon. And while they did have him in number 7, it was by then they had already overdone it. And, you were just glad to finally see him because you knew it was hopefully going to be over. And of course, that wasn't even true.
Right, because that wasn't even it. They just keep going.
Yeah. Now, I haven't seen Spiral personally. That was the one I didn't get to. I haven't gotten to see Spiral yet.
I haven't seen it yet either.
Okay. And apparently, I was in my research looking for in this episode. Apparently, they're doing 9 and 10. Apparently, they are being planned now. Saws 9 and 10 are now being planned. So, which is completely, ridiculous, of course. The only way it works now is if they actually give us what we all wanted at like Saw 4 or 5, which was actually Dr. Gordon, like leading all of these people who survived, like leading this cult and putting on something that's different. So if it's Dr. Gordon and he's leading the troops, I'm much more willing to give it a try.
I'd be all right if it was a prequel as well.
They already did a couple of those, though. Really?
I know, but you can always do more.
I don't see how they can do a prequel. What else could they do?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's anything to do in the prequel. I think
I cover movies. I don't write them.
Between flashbacks and which one was it? Was it Saw 8? That took you back and was like the first game he ever ran or something?
Oh, yeah, I think it was. 7 or 8. It was one of the last ones.
Yeah. So, it's just I think we have to see Dr. Gordon. I don't think there's any other way to do it. I think if you want to have Tobin Bell in it, that's great. I think you could, although I don't even know how, you could include some conversations between them if you really want.
Right. Recorded conversations or something.
Yeah, that's about the extent of it. Because we in the rewatch number 7, he takes over. Like he actually gets Dr. Gordon is in that, and he gets the torch passed to him, and he. And then he kills the faker. That's the one with the guy who's claiming that he was tested.
Yeah, that he's Jigsaw and he's not.
Yeah. So, But that, I mean, that was a pretty good one. So if it sets it up and you continue with that, maybe. But anything else other than that, I don't see how anybody is going to legitimately buy it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Let's talk about. I want to talk about Detective Matthews for a minute. Because I think he got a bad. I think he got dealt a bad deal.
When it comes to short straws, he drew the shortest.
Yeah, I mean, he gets tested 3 different times, kind of consecutively, and during the second and third time, he pretty much he's being held for we don't know how long, at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's been there a while.
So I think he did get it wrong. I think he did not need to be tested that many times, in my opinion.
No, he got a raw deal.
Now, what about Amanda, your favorite character? Talking about multiple tests. Amanda was tested. We know she was tested in the first one, though we didn't see it directly. You know, we
right
flashback scene. We see her in number 2 as one of the people in the test. We think it's because she's there as a plant, but I think she is there because she started cutting herself. And then in the third one, that's her game again. It's as much her game as it is the other 2 people in it. So what do you think about that? Amanda's your favorite character.
I thought the second one was a training exercise for her. I didn't think she was part of the game. Like, as the story progresses and you learn she was working with Jigsaw and everything, it's like that was her trial run.
Gotcha. I see. So you think, okay. So you think
to see how well she could convince everybody she wasn't part of it.
Okay. That makes more sense to me now. So she does another one. She did her own. She had her own. Now she's a part of one, but from the outside, knowing the ins and outs of the games. And can she survive that?
Right, showing not only can she play the game and know the rules, but fool everybody else into thinking she's not the one running it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. That's a great point there. If you're watching, we're talking about The Apprentices. We were talking about Detective Matthews getting tested multiple times, and was that fair? And then we talked about Amanda, because she's also been tested multiple times. So, yeah, I never thought about number 2 kind of being like a dry run, not like a test, but like all right, now this is your training. Like, you passed the test, now this is your training. So that's interesting. Oh, we do have comments. Nope, we don't have comments. They're my comments from trying to get people here. So that's my bad.
That's all right.
What about traps in the games? For your favorite trap or your favorite game? Do you have a favorite trap or game, Jesse?
Oh, my favorite trap was the reverse bear trap thing.
The reverse bear trap. The one that rips the face open. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was unique. In terms of the actual, I mean, I still have to go with the first one. I think some of the other ones have been unique, and I'm not talking about the ones with the gore factor. I mean, like, some of the other ones are unique, but some of them are a little over the top, especially in what was it, number 5? I think it was, or number 6. Yeah, the dude was hooked to the cross, and then each of the things started rotating. That was a little bit much for me.
I forgot about that.
And Jigsaw has an affinity for shotguns, for sure.
I mean, they get the job done.
Yeah, especially at point blank range, up close and personal, right to the chest or the head.
Usually effective.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna have to go with the first one. I think the first game still has it. I love the twists in the third one, about the game being for Amanda at the end, because again, that's what I think the first 3 had. The first 3 had unique traps, good story that you were interested in.
Right, and a hella twist.
And then, twists at the end. Now, was the third one as good as the first 2? No, it wasn't, because by then we were, you kind of expected there was going to be something. But I think it was a good one. The game being for Amanda, not for the people you think it is, I thought was a decent twist.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6 happen, and they kind of abandon that, which is also when they lose Tobin Bell or John Kramer as Jigsaw. And I think that's the huge mistake, is getting rid of him.
Yeah, I agree.
And not passing it to Dr. Gordon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those movies now. It's like Fast and the Furious, where it just really, we're just off the rails now.
Yeah. And anybody who wants to know the timeline, I didn't have time to make a visual for this, but if anybody wants to know the timeline, I just want, because 3, 4, 5, 6, they can get confusing. All right. So 3 and 4 happen concurrently, meaning at the same time, and parts of each of the movies happen before and after other parts of the movies. Okay. So 3 and 4 kind of happen at the same time, pretty much. Okay. Then it immediately goes into number 5. So 5 is immediately following the events of 3 and 4 at the same time, just in case anybody was curious about that, because it gets tricky. They don't really give us a lot of timeline in that. How much time passes between movies? How much timeline? We don't even know how much time. When we're looking backwards in the flashbacks, we don't even know how long.
Right, we don't even know.
Which I think does hurt a little bit. I think if they gave us a little bit more timeline, that would help us a little bit more. But that's just my opinion. Did you want to see the movie with Dr. Gordon as Jigsaw? You can't see it. Jesse's shaking his head. Yes. I am going
more than anything.
Yeah, I'm going to also have to agree with that. Absolutely, he should have been. He should have somehow stepped in and saved his wife, killed Detective Hoffman, and that's how it should have been. It should have been him taking over at that point. So that's how it should have unfolded, the story, at least. Hoffman was never a real apprentice to Jigsaw. He was a serial murderer who liked killing people.
Hoffman was a pretender.
Yeah. Really, he was, and really, it kind of was like that for Amanda. All her games were rigged.
Yep.
Which I also didn't like. I was kind of like, man, I really wanted Amanda. When I saw the Apprentice thing, like, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This could be interesting. At like Saw 9 or 10, are we going to get to see Amanda running the games? Is it going to be her next, her apprentice? Like we get to see multi-generational Jigsaw here, but. So I was disappointed when she kept failing, but Hoffman, I was never a fan of. I'm like, that's not a test. He had a shotgun in his mouth, and all he did was, that's not anything. There was no test there. There was no pound of flesh. Where's his jigsaw piece cut from him? So
show it to me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Hoffman. I think he was just a pretender, and he should have
never. Hoffman sucked.
Yeah, he should have never gotten the upper hand on anybody, in my opinion. And poor Detective Matthews, he never stood a chance.
No, he didn't, did he? The game was rigged from the start.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, there was no way for him. So, so Jigsaw or Saw's 9 and 10, I think it has to be Dr. Gordon. If it's not Dr. Gordon, I don't see how anybody is actually interested in seeing it.
No.
I think, and honestly, if they're planning a 9 and a 10, if it doesn't contain Dr. Gordon, I don't think there will be a 10, because I think 9 will flop in the box office. That's why.
I honestly think Gordon's the only thing that can save it at this point.
What's funny is that after 7, when 7 came out, that was the one that was in 3D, by the way, which did not help the franchise. That was the one that after they combined 2 movies into that one, because they didn't think, because number 6 didn't do very well, I think it is. And they were like wrapping it up. They're like, nope, we're done. We got to get finished. And then they ended up making the Spiral movie. And now they got then they made the Jigsaw movie. So after Saw 6, it's Saw 3D. That was supposed to be the last one. That was the one that was 2 movies. Then they combined it into one because they were going to be done making them. Then they waited 7 years and came out with Jigsaw. Okay, which was the one that's apparently goes back in time. That's like his first game or something like that. It's really hard to follow that one. That one's a really hard one.
Yeah, that one was really confusing.
Yeah, then they wait 4 more years, and they come out with the Spiral movie, which is a standalone sequel to the Jigsaw movie, which meaning that it likely doesn't play, like it's likely another flashback thing. Somehow they talked Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson to appearing in this movie. I have no idea how they did that, except with a big fat check.
Yeah, I was going to say dollar signs, brother.
And I haven't seen that, so I can't comment much about that. But then Saw 10 and 11 are also planned, according to my notes here. Although Saw 10, oh wait, is there a Saw 10? Yes, actually, there was a Saw 10. Saw 10 came out, which I also haven't gotten a chance to see yet. I thought it was still coming out. I looked at the dates wrong. I wish I would have noticed that before now. No, that Saw 10 is out now.
Oh Lord.
2023. It released in September 2023. Coincidentally, we didn't hear anything about that last year, so I don't know how it did. I'll look into that. But apparently, there's some Saw 11 is supposed to be happening too. So maybe next year, as part of our Halloween specials, we'll do a special on the next round of Saw movies coming out. But we can't comment too much on them until we see them and if they were actually commercially successful and they're going to make another one after that. Why? It's got to be Dr. Gordon. If I watch Saw 10, I'm not even looking at the cast list, I'll give the movie an honest chance. But if there's no Dr. Gordon in Saw 10, that's it, man. I'm telling you.
Hanging it up.
Yeah, I don't think I can give 11 a try. I don't know if I can. What about you? What about you? If Saw 10 does not have Dr. Gordon or something,
I'm out.
And if Saw 11 is not, if it's not like, hey, Dr. Gordon's finally taking over, like in the advertisements,
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think I can watch it.
No, I'm out.
And apparently that's supposed to come out October next year. Halloween next year is when Saw 11 is supposed to be out, everybody. So, live watch along, baby. Yep. Fingers crossed. Oh, that would be maybe that. So that we can really, really make.
We can sit here and laugh our balls off.
Yeah, we might need to do that. We want to look into that. We want to do some more watch alongs. That's something we're looking into here for 2025 is doing some watch alongs of whether it's movies or a TV show or maybe a sports event or something. We're looking into trying to do some watch alongs here. So stay tuned for that. And Jesse is hopefully going to be a part of several of those.
Oh yeah.
As he is with all Mayhem Media stuff. Is there anything else from Saw you want to discuss?
I'm still maintaining if you say you thought Jigsaw was the dead body, you a liar.
Yep, and I agree.
No, you're a liar. I don't care what you say. You're a liar.
We haven't gotten too many live comments, but leave a comment if you're watching the reshow of this. We will certainly respond in the comments, and if we get enough, maybe we can do another short episode on it or something. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 4 of our Never Sleep Again Halloween 2024 special, and for Jesse James, I am your host JD. Visit the storefront, and that's the end.
Ooh.